everybody. John David had a 9 out of 10 day, so surgery went about as well as it could have gone. The last few days have been busy. I didn't put an update up yesterday because we got in here fairly late. Went to work, got off, took Hunter and dropped him off at Gigi and Uncle Elliot's house. And then I think Auntie Sarah went over and spent the night with them. So he had himself a good little time, and then they ended up going back home today. And went back and saw Mimi and Papa are staying with them tonight. And we just, with everything going on with surgery, we really didn't want him here with all of this. And so he went there. Now, surgery went about as well as it could go. If you've been following, you kind of know what they did. One was just placing a G-tube, which is a feeding tube, so he no longer has the NG tube around his face, doesn't go in through his nose. And the other part of it was an appendectomy, taking out the appendix. And then the other part was the LAD procedure, which the appendectomy is part of the LAD procedure. And is clipping some adhesive bands that are holding his intestines in an awkward spot in his mid-gut region. And so they cut those and then kind of move the intestines over to where they're supposed to be. And the surgeon said that things went well, that it was relatively mild in terms of kind of the complications of where they were located. So not as bad as what, we were kind of fearing. And all in all, everything has gone pretty well. Obviously, with our history, we were nervous with him having to go into another operation because he has traditionally not done very well with them. And the surgeon has some respect for that. And typically in these procedures after the surgery, they will do feeds. They'll start feeds usually about 6 hours later. However, the surgeon does want to wait until tomorrow morning to give him a little more time, just to not muddy the picture at all, because there were some concerns post-op with his blood pressure being too high because he misses amlodipine, his blood pressure medication, this morning. The reason being they skipped it so that way he wouldn't have lower blood pressures and then get on anesthesia, because as y'all probably know from me saying this multiple times throughout the course of all this, low blood pressures are more dangerous than high blood pressures. Low blood pressures will lead you into cardiac arrest pretty quickly. And so they did not want to have him what they call soft pressures or low pressures and then give him anesthesia and then cause a cardiac arrest. And so he did really well through the procedure with his pressures. Everything went fine. Coming out and then getting off of the sedation and kind of waking back up, he started being hypertensive or blood pressures being too high, which makes sense because he didn't have his blood pressure medication. And so then they gave him a more immediate acting blood pressure medication called nicardipine, which he's been on multiple times before in the ICU. And that will kind of bridge us to tomorrow morning when he can get his amlodipine again, and then he'll just be back on a regularly scheduled blood pressure medication. But all in all, that was the only hiccup. So we are happy that was the only hiccup. To use the words of one of the surgeons from the OR who came and checked in, she was on the surgical team. She came in later and was like, it was unremarkable. Things went well. And we were like, unremarkable? We like that word. We like that word with John David. Unremarkable and John David should go together more often. I think it's the first time that we've heard that given to us after a procedure with him. So we are hoping we will hear more of that after more procedures. But that has been our day. I know that is a long way and a lot of explaining, but it also just kind of helps. I know I've said this before, making these and being able to talk about this and kind of get it out is very helpful. And so, excuse me. I think it's been stressful for everybody who has been worried about him. I know there have been a lot of people praying for him and praying for us. So thank you to everybody who has prayed for us, checked in on us. For anybody who's done anything throughout the entirety of this journey, thank y'all. Just thank y'all so much for thinking of us. Thank you for helping us. It has meant a lot. Hopefully tomorrow will be just a recovery day and we will be moving back up here into the step down. Currently he is in the PICU. They kind of took him and made sure that he was in an ICU at least immediately post-op. And since he was the last case of the day, there wasn't time to let him stay there for a few hours and then bring him back up here. So he's staying in the ICU tonight, and then tomorrow we'll come back up here into our room. But John David also got to watch some basketball today. We watched the Tar Heels and we watched Wolfpack, both of their games, and he was actually invested in both of them. It was really fun to watch, actually. He would kind of get a little upset when commercials came on, but when the basketball game was going, he would quiet down and watch. And so that was actually a lot of fun. And then his big brother FaceTimed him and told him that he did a good job today, and that was very sweet. So all in all, we have had ourselves a pretty good day. If y'all would pray for these two things: one, that he'll continue progressing forward. As long as his echoes can remain stable, then we will probably be looking at going home before Thanksgiving, and we will have a lot to be thankful for. But that's if they remain stable. If they don't, then we'll go down a different path, and we'll, face that path if that's the one we have to go down. Two, if you would pray for all of those who've lost loved ones, especially those who've lost children. And then three, if you'll pray for all of the kids and families who are battling congenital heart defects, because again, this is a long and winding road. And as I just said, there are a lot of different paths. So it's a lot of constant pivoting and adjusting. But please keep all of those in your prayers, if you would. That's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all have a good night and God bless. Continue to choose up daily.
I'm trying to stop him. I'm trying to get him to get away. Hey, get away!
And John David, tell everybody bye-bye.